our friend Layne Wooten, world famous Cowboy chef, has been a friend and a customer of ours for about 20 years. And he's respected really good by all the restaurants and hotels in town. And there he is, Layne Wooten.
Hey, how y'all? It's been a pleasure to be here today. See my hat? I tell you, this hat, I get so many compliments on this wherever I wear it. They say, "Oh, you must be a cowboy." And I said, "No, I'm a cowboy chef." And that's what it says on the inside of my hat. That David wrote in there years ago. He wrote, "Cowboy chef Layne Wooten." And just a little bit about David and I. We met so long ago, probably 20 years ago. Burke Horner, a good friend of ours, introduced us together at the Ender Trail, and David and I just took to one another like, you know, you name it. I mean, we were there. We were partners, and David kept telling me. He said, "You know, I've got a hat store in Las Vegas. You got to come by." And this was out on Spring Mountain Road. And I tell you, when I came out, I didn't know Las Vegas at all. And I drove all around trying to find it. And finally found the shop and went in, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, all those great hats. And I think I tried every one of them on in the store, all of them. And David kept telling me, he said, "Man," he said, "this looks good on you, that one looks good on you." And I knew I was hooked, man. And I must have today, I know I've got, I should have probably added another room to my house just to put hats in. But my wife won't let me. So I have to keep them in boxes and I put them on and wear them when I can. But this is my favorite hat.
And we've had that one for about 15 years, at least 10 years.
At least, yeah.
And we just keep sprucing it up. Still looks good.
That's right. One day I was driving down the main drag in Las Vegas, and I was in the car, and the wind was blowing, and I had a beautiful straw on that David had made for me. And the wind came through the window and took my straw and put it right out into the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard. I watched this hat and cars. I'm thinking, "Oh no, there goes my hat!" And I cut across the island. Actually, drove across the island to get back onto the side where the hat had landed. I stopped the car, blocked all the traffic on Las Vegas Boulevard, and retrieved my hat, and nobody had run over it. That is probably one of the best hat rescues I've ever made. Let me tell you. But there's been so many funny things with this hat. One time, my hat's my persona. I got to wear my hat, because otherwise people don't know who I am. And so one night I was a little drunk, not much drunk, but a little drunk, and I got in a cab, and for some reason, I took my hat off and left it in the cab. And I got to where I was going, and I realized I left my hat in the cab. And so I called up the cab company, and the cab driver got a hold of him, and he said, "Yeah," "I think you were wearing a hat." He says, "I picked up a couple of girls, took them to the airport, and she was wearing a hat that looked just like your hat." And I said, "Oh man, there goes my hat." And so I called up the next morning. I said, David, we've got this big show. Reba McEntire's coming in at Country Star, and she's, I was the chef over there, and she, how can I be taking care of business without a hat on? And so David said, "Come on down here, I'll open up for you." And I went down, and David had a hat, I mean, even better looking and more incredible than the one that I left in the cab. And so I had to kiss that one goodbye, and I put my new hat on, and I was the toast of the town at Country Star.